Entertainment is undeniably one of the biggest industries on the planet. It is present in every region of the world, and everyone is very familiar with it at this point. But even though it's present in so many different regions and cultures, they'll have many points in common among one another. One of those points, of course, is unfortunately the aspect of controversy. More specifically, bad people who will gain power and take advantage of others. This is something that has happened and continues to happen as we speak. And no matter how many people get exposed, we keep finding more. And seeing that VTubing is a part of the entertainment industry, they also unfortunately share that same point in common. More specifically, in one of the two biggest VTubing corporations on the planet, Nijisanji. I mean, seriously, this company keeps raising the bar as to how to not do things the right way, to the point where they have an entire playlist on my channel just dedicated to how bad of a company they are. Starting in February 2024, when one of their talents almost took their own life because of their toxic work culture, with them then deciding to terminate her and turn her own coworkers against her in one of the worst streams imaginable. And then slowly but surely, over the next months after that major incident, we started to truly understand the depth of the toxicity present internally at Nijisanji. With the last video being almost 6 months ago, talking about how one of their biggest male VTubers is a serial harasser, targeting women internally, especially the ones that joined the company recently, and trying his best to take advantage of them. How could this get any worse, you might ask? Well, we just got new information on that VTuber specifically. The victim in question gave us more information about the things that he did to her, and even included an audio clip of her confronting him in a voice call and him replying to her. But what prompted this? This victim already gave us information 6 months ago. Why come out now out of all times and give us more information? Well, it's actually because someone leaked a voice call she was in from 6 months ago, back in December 2024, in which she insulted over 1 billion people due to their race, called for the death of all men on the planet, and admitted that she was a transphobe. Yes, it's because of this voice call leaking that the victim decided to turn their apology into mostly talking about Aster. Okay, I'm not even kidding. I wish I was. This is like 2 videos in one, and honestly, it is such a train wreck that we have to talk about it. So let's do this. Alright, so this whole controversy involving Aster ARCADIA and his behavior internally actually started with a completely separate incident. It involved none other than Luca Kaneshiro, one of the biggest male VTubers at Nijisanji. His ex-mod, Raziel Warmonic, tweeted this out on March 29th, 2024, saying, "My experience with Java / Luca Kaneshiro," linking a Google Doc that is 58 pages long. This was a very extensive document showing receipts, DMs, and a lot of different proof in regards to how Luca is behind closed doors. Someone who is manipulative and borderline sociopathic. And as the thumbnail of my video about him suggests, yes, one of the things this document talks about is how he beat his meat in VR chat to Raziel without her consent. It honestly couldn't get more ridiculous, and it's safe to say that it ruined his reputation. Not to mention that Nijisanji just barely went through a PR disaster with selling Tatsuki's termination, so this didn't help at all. But here's the thing, this whole document mostly talked about Luca Kaneshiro except one paragraph on page 55. This section had the title, Aster ARCADIA Harassing Other Coworkers, saying, "I can confirm that Luca said that multiple girls were coming to him about the issue since management wouldn't do anything, and he discussed it with both Elira and I. I personally told him to gather as much evidence as possible and bring it to management since it shouldn't be Luca and Elira's job to regulate this issue. To my understanding, nothing was done about it." Raziel then showed a DM that she received from a Nijisanji English VTuber saying, "To help you with clarity, I remember that incident, it was Aster." To which Raziel said, "Another Nijisanji liver confirmed by DMs that the Aster allegations after this had been made public." So in a nutshell, even Luca, who was toxic and manipulative in his own way, was getting DMs from multiple Nijisanji VTubers, we're talking talents here, telling him to help them convince management to do something about Aster ARCADIA. Like, imagine it getting this bad. Having God knows how many VTubers complain and management still not budging. This was the first time that the mainstream VTubing community was made aware about this, about Aster's behavior internally. And instead of Nijisanji making a statement about this document regarding Luca or Aster, we only heard crickets because Nijisanji was in full radio silence until May. On May 29th, 2024, 2 months after Raziel had posted her document, she tweeted, "I was just served a cease and desist from Anycolor Inc. in paper," Anycolor being the parent company of Nijisanji. "I fully intend to comply with it as I have until now and will continue to into the future. That is all I will share on the matter. Thank you." So Nijisanji had sent a team of lawyers after Raziel with a cease and desist letter, and if she didn't comply and take down the Google document, she would face the wrath of their lawyers. To many, this was an admission of guilt, them saying, yeah, everything in this document's true, please get the hell out of here. But of course, the information was already out there, and this did nothing more but raise even more awareness about the document, staining their reputation further. But in that cease and desist that Raziel had received, there was this section that said that Anycolor takes its responsibility towards employees and those it manages and treats any allegations of misconduct seriously. It reacts appropriately to any allegations brought to its attention, including via personal consultations with its human resources and/or legal representatives, and since April 12th, 2024, so 2 weeks after Raziel's document came out, through its internal whistleblowing policy for livers. Whoa, was Nijisanji actually taking this seriously? Were they taking steps to fix their internal toxic culture now that it's been brought up publicly? Just keep this paragraph in mind for later, okay? I'm sure you can guess where this is going. But regardless, even after this document had come out, Aster ARCADIA would continue to stream regularly. This hadn't made enough of a dent in Nijisanji's management and hadn't really affected Aster ARCADIA's reputation as much as the victims were hoping it would. And to be fair, it couldn't, because unlike Luca, there was no proof regarding Aster until September 2024. On September 19th, 2024, a VTuber at Nijisanji would vent to someone that she thought was a friend about her experiences with Aster ARCADIA, revealing many things to us about how he was flirty when she told him to stop, wanting to fly her out to Japan so that they can stay in the same hotel room, and doing that to her friend who was not even a VTuber and was clearly a Nijisanji fan, very openly taking advantage of that. Now around November, that person who she thought was a friend would reach out to the YouTuber False ID, showing him those messages. This was done without this VTuber's permission. This completely endangered her position at Nijisanji, because she knew that even if she censored her name and remained anonymous, Nijisanji would eventually find out exactly who she was. But seeing that her friend had already broken her trust and reached out to False ID, she thought, you know what, might as well see this through to the end. So she also reached out saying, hey, thanks for accepting my request. Blank, which was her friend, told me he sent you some things and I was wondering if you'd be able to have a call with me, to which False ID said, sure, not a problem, what time works for you? That VTuber would then give even more details as to how she was badly treated by Aster ARCADIA and how much of a sex pest he truly was internally in the company. All of this culminated into the bombshell drop of a video on December 6, 2024, in which False ID for one of the first times would reveal to the world the true depth of Aster ARCADIA's very problematic behavior and how Nijisanji management has been repeatedly covering for him. As this was going on, many people made correlations between his current behavior and his past behavior before even joining Nijisanji, with many concluding that he used to go by the name Xigneon, a VR chat content creator that also exhibited a lot of this very problematic behavior with his peers. This video dropped a nuclear bomb in the VTubing community, with many content creators also picking up the story, including myself, and it eventually reached further beyond the VTuber demographic, even reaching the mainstream. This absolutely forced Nijisanji to put out some sort of a statement, and they couldn't stay silent on it like they were about the Luca Kaneshiro document. So 3 days after False ID's video came out, they tweeted out, "Thank you for your continued support of Nijisanji and Nijisanji EN. Regarding the recent controversy, Anycolor has determined the following course of action. We have initiated an independent third-party investigation into these issues and will share the outcome with our livers and our community. This investigation will focus on the issues of sexual harassment and unauthorized information leakage to outside parties, and will include a thorough review of company policies and their implementation. Based on the outcome of this investigation, appropriate disciplinary actions will be taken, and updated policies will be shared with our livers and our community. Anycolor is committed to a safe and community-focused environment free from any type of inappropriate behavior." So of course, some people thought that yeah, this was a step in the right direction to conduct an investigation, but others quickly pointed out, wait, what is this sentence over here? The investigation will focus on the issues of sexual harassment and unauthorized information leakage package to outside parties. Why is this even a concern? Like, this shouldn't even be part of the investigation. Like, you need to set your priorities straight here. So many were predicting that this leaker was going to suffer the wrath of Nijisanji, and Aster was going to continue doing what he always did. But it actually wasn't fully the case. The next day, Aster was supposed to go live with a cooking stream and a huge announcement. He then delayed it by a week and said this in his chat: "I will have to postpone the cooking stream, sorry. Missing some stuff and setup is complicated. Thank you for your understanding." He then delayed it again and again and again and again, and today we're at 7 different delays, with the most recent one being July 24th, 2025, the 3rd anniversary of his debut. I think it's very safe to say that this stream is most likely not happening, but regardless, he hasn't streamed a single time since False ID's video came out. And speaking of that video, the victim in question, the Nijisanji Vtuber, had their name clearly censored. This was in an effort to protect their identity so that Nijisanji doesn't punish them. Many other YouTubers did their best to censor the name as well, but unfortunately, in the end, it didn't matter one bit. That friend who had initially reached out to False ID on that VTuber's behalf without asking her permission leaked over 100 pages of chat logs involving this VTuber on 4chan. Not even joking, look at this. Look at all these messages, bro. It's insane. The secret was out. The VTuber in question was none other than Twisty AMANOZAKO, someone who had only a few months prior joined Nijisanji and was now going to be in very big trouble. In these chat logs, she also revealed some other very worrying things, like how, for example, Nijisanji had encouraged her to go all out on her debut, asking for the best quality model, the best assets, the best everything, and her later finding out that this would be subtracted from her pay. She was essentially $10,000 in debt to Nijisanji. Every month, the majority of her paycheck would go towards paying that debt, so she was making no money whatsoever. Yet again, showing us just how much of an amazing company Nijisanji is. But who is Twisty AMANOZAKO really? Well, we've already established that she's an English Nijisanji VTuber. Her debut was under the Denouth wave, I think that's how you spell it, alongside 2 other members. Their debut was officially on May 25th, 2024. So think about this. She wasn't even there for 6 months before Aster decided to make a move on her. It was almost instantaneous. As soon as she had joined, the Predator made his move. And speaking of Aster, this is definitely a household name for Nijisanji. He's by no means the biggest Nijisanji VTuber. He's not even comparable to someone like Luca Kaneshiro, but he was very popular throughout his debut before Nijisanji's reputation took a dump, and still is a very recognizable name today. In comparison, Twisty was dealt a very bad hand. Her debut was barely a couple months after the first initial sell-in catastrophe, so she joined the company at its lowest point. She had a fanbase, but it wasn't much in comparison to Luca, and shortly after False ID's video about Aster ARCADIA came out, she all of a sudden went radio silent. She stopped streaming on her channel. She stopped showing up on collabs. That's when she would all of a sudden announce an indefinite hiatus, something usually reserved for very big life events that are uncontrollable. People were hoping for the best, but they were expecting the worst. Because based on past events with this company, I mean, why wouldn't they? We wouldn't hear from her or Aster for almost a year until June 2025. When she would go live playing League of Legends on her PL account. PL referring to past life. In the VTubing community, this means the account or persona you used before becoming a corporate VTuber. In this case, Twisty's PL account is none other than Delulu Delirio. And this was a very big deal because under Nijisanji's contract, you are strictly prohibited from creating any sort of content outside of your Nijisanji persona. You can't tweet on your past life account. You cannot stream on your past life account. You can't even play a game with someone else who's streaming unless you're your Nijisanji persona. This is a big breach of contract, and it made people think, wait, was she kicked out? Many were concerned for her until 4 days later, when this video would be published on YouTube in which you can hear her say the most vile and crazy things imaginable in a leaked voice call. I downloaded this as soon as it came out because I knew YouTube was going to remove it, and hey, they did. So I came prepared. The video starts off with context, saying Twisty is talking to her friend about one of her fans named Epic, who is Indian. I think you can already tell where this is going, right? It's starting off strong. There are subtitles in this video, and whenever they're green, it means that Twisty is talking. It's 7 minutes 45 seconds long, and I'm going to show you the 3 main most important clips. You'll understand what I mean, starting with the first one. Watch.
Twitter's useless, but just to like...
me talking to Epic for like an entire 2 hours, but it's not that bad, I guess.
while talking to an Indian sounds pretty terrible.
Okay.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah. Don't be a red wife, okay.
Oh, I hate Epic and I hate his kind, so.
Ever since, I feel like did you say something to him because he stopped sending you stuff?
Like money or what?
No.
A bear or Epic? I don't remember saying anything to Epic, but I probably have called it. I've definitely called him a creep, but I don't know how recent.
Then he just stopped and then...
Like, I definitely haven't spoken to him in months.
I think Epic is like attached to my she model.
I think so too.
Cause he was like...
Awesome.
I think he's a pedophile and an Indian.
I cannot wait to meet him tomorrow. Should have like a little meet and greet.
He's really like she.
Is Epic living?
Yeah, why?
I swear to God, if he shows up to my meet and greet, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm not even kidding.
Wait, why? Why?
Okay, I'm sure he's not gonna go, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know how far it is from him, but I feel like solely to piss me off, that is something he would do. People like Epic and Bear should honestly not.
Right, so I'm sure that's already one hell of a way to start the video. Insulting over 1 billion people, talking so badly about someone who's supposedly your fan. Now listen, I get making fun of people who are parasocial, who think that VTuber streamers are actually their VTuber IRL and they're in love with an anime girl. Yeah, sure, I mean, it's fun to make fun of people like that. But to say that he smells like curry just because he's Indian and going ahead and insulting his entire race is definitely wild. But hey, we're only getting started. Here's the next clip.
You should get her free tickets as a birthday present.
I don't even think I can get myself tickets.
Why not?
Because my company hates me.
Ah.
I feel like you overlook that factor a lot.
Off I go.
Wife, the new fucking Brave group wave is so bad. I'm actually like shocked. I don't know how the fuck they got in, because genuinely, it's like the worst I've ever seen.
Wait, does
like the one girl, she
damn.
literally, I need to send you her videos. I'm not even being mean, wife. Like, I'm genuinely like shocked and kind of pissed off. I don't even get a fucking call back, and this girl, who literally the worst I've ever seen. I'm not kidding. Like, it's bad.
Wait,
she
what
has
are you
like
talking about?
trans rights in her Twitter bio, which I feel like should be a red flag for any VTuber company if you're talking about that stuff publicly.
Wait,
And she doesn't really stream, but she uploaded some YouTube videos, and
Wait, are
there's
they, like-
really
are
terrible
they-
covers.
are they like Nijin?
No, Brave Girl.
Oh. I don't know.
She is for the new wave that's gonna debut soon.
I don't know, maybe they saw something and
I don't know what the fuck they would see in her. Like, they must be blind.
well, I don't know, it's objective, I guess.
No, like, objectively, it's really bad, wife. Like, I will send you it and you'll understand. Like, it is just very bad.
Okay, that's right. It's because the company, like, they really want to make money, right? So they're looking for people that can do the lewd ASMR.
I don't even think this girl can do lewd ASMR, or do you mean, like, the one you're talking about?
Oh, no, I'm just talking about the CEO person.
Oh, yeah.
Lewd ASMR. How about she is, like, cute in her own way?
She's not cute in her own way, wife. I'm not kidding. Like, I could not get through this. Like, it's really bad. Like, it's shocked. I cannot believe that she was hired. Like, not even, like, just being mean because I'm transphobic.
No,
Like,
part of it's that.
no, it's not. You watched the video.
Bro, I swear, man, I can't believe this person got a call back and I didn't, man. And I swear, it's not because I'm trans. But she does have a trans flag in her bio, and that is a red flag. So look, Brave Group is another VTuber agency. She's clearly salty that they didn't call her back, and she had to eventually settle for Nijisanji. So it's her taking out her anger at one of the people that got accepted for the new wave. The way she said it, though, didn't sit right with a lot of the VTuber community, and we'll get to that later. But there's one more clip here, and this to many was the final nail in the coffin. Watch.
I think it's cute. Well, your legs are really long, though.
They're so... It doesn't make sense because the upper, like, half of my body is so compact, and then you just have the longest fucking legs on the planet. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
They kind of look like me. Cause I have like the.
On your
Remember,
shoe
like
model?
the raccoon wanted me to have like.
Oh yeah, he wanted you to have long,
legs.
sexy legs.
Yeah, but I think I like you.
It's literally only because their audience are all Twitter trend, and they don't want to piss them off, which is weird because none of those people watch me anyways. So why should I care about like them being pissed off? Like, it's so stupid.
Why should they care about you being pissed off?
Then why'd they hire me?
For fun.
Like, maybe they could have looked into the future and like realized that the girl who talked about wanting to be a lolly wanted to be a lolly. I don't know. That just kind of seems weird to me.
I feel like it's pretty obvious that they knew that based on what they were talking to you about.
Okay, no, it's because they want
they
to
just-
hire you, right? But then they're like, okay.
They just
we
lied to me
can't
pretty
do
much.
it.
They literally just lied to me.
No, it's because they wanted to hire you.
Yeah, so they lied.
It's fine. You can get a lolly model next time.
They're never gonna give me a fucking lolly model. Like, it makes me so mad. And everybody wonders why I don't want to stream. Like, my fans are fucking retarded, and they're upset that I spam collabs all day. Have you ever considered it's because none of you like send me any money at all? Like, it's just crazy to me that they don't understand like the connection. And I mean, I can't blame them because they're all like underage kids, and that's Nijisanji's fan base. But why do you want to pander to those people? Give us ugly models that they pay nothing for. Take all of our income. Like,
Weird.
I'm so sick of Horrendous. You're so fucking lame. Why are all men just men doing?
I don't know.
Like, they're literally all the same. Bear has a fucking mental breakdown because he thinks that we're actually dating or something. And he messages me and spams me non-stop because he can't understand.
Okay, guys are just, I'm gonna put.
Yeah, men are mentally ill, and I think they should all die, honestly.
All right, what a video, right? Yes, excuse the censorship, otherwise YouTube is going to take down this video too. But in a nutshell, near the end, you can see Twisty insulting both Bear and Drinos. From what I know, they're her top donators, and of course, are probably very parasocial. But again, the reaction that was exhibited from her here is way over the top, saying that all men should, you know, cease to exist. As you can imagine, this blew up the VTuber community. Yet another Nijisanji VTuber was able to do that. And so on the same exact day this video came out, she put out a statement on her PL Twitter account, saying, "This is something I have been reflecting on long before today. I know not everyone will agree with my decision to post this, but I feel like my fans and the people hurt by my words deserve clarity and an apology." Linking an even bigger statement, saying, "A recording of me from almost a year ago was leaked, and I want to address that to the best of my ability today. What I said was hateful, cruel, and insanely inappropriate, racist, transphobic, and honestly just straight up mean. I don't want to try to make excuses, regardless of what I was angry about or dealing with. Those words were wrong, and I want to fully own up to it. That conversation came from a place of protectiveness and frustration over how someone close to me was being treated. But regardless, that doesn't excuse the language I used, and I'm sorry that my anger boiled over into something so ugly and so hurtful to many. To me, words were always just words. There was never any deeper meaning to anything. I felt that if you had the ability to speak, why not say whatever you want? I never really questioned the thoughts nor beliefs I grew up with until very recently. I've luckily been able to meet some kind-hearted and wonderful people that pushed, supported, and urged me to become better and grow as a person. I started to realize how much power words carry. They are able to hurt people, inflict and reinforce harm, and even make people feel unsafe even if I didn't mean it that way. I feel that over the past few months, I have come to understand that being careless doesn't mean my actions are not harmful. To me, growth is about unlearning things, listening and actually thinking before I speak, and learning how to take responsibility for my actions. After gaining these new friends who were able to correct and educate me on all of the things I had done wrong, I realized that words are not just words and they can hold meanings that are able to affect the lives of others. I've had a lot of time to reflect on how I speak and how I treat people, and I fully intend to be better. As someone who lives in America, even just in 2025 alone, I have witnessed many injustices towards marginalized communities, things that I cannot unsee or ignore. Growing up, I was surrounded by certain attitudes and beliefs that I never questioned. I took them as normal even though they were rooted in ignorance and bias. When my mom found out that I didn't vote for the hateful and oppressive president she supported, she nearly disowned me. That moment really shook me because it made me realize how much my identity had been shaped by trying to meet other people's expectations or avoid conflict. It was the first time I truly stood my ground on something I believed in, even when it cost me. That experience pushed me to start thinking for myself more critically, to ask why I believed what I believed, and to recognize how easy it is to stay complicit in harmful systems when you're just going along with what you've always been taught. Look, we're halfway through, but so far, this apology would have maybe worked like 10 years ago, but today, even ChatGPT can come up with something better. Anyway, second page. But I feel that this past year has been a turning point. With the help of my friends who have educated me and shared their experiences, I've started to really understand just how much harm those old ways of thinking can cause. I have made the choice to turn away from what I was raised on and to actively unlearn all of that harmful rhetoric. Maybe it's dumb to say because this conversation happened not that long ago. Yeah, this voice call was from December 2024, so 6 months ago. Anyway, she continues, but even in the small period since this incident occurred, I do think I have started to grow more as a person. I want to be absolutely 100% clear on this. Despite all of the awful things I said, I have never truly held those views, and to this day I still do not. The words I used were ignorant and deeply hateful, but I do not believe they represent my actual beliefs or values. Racist, transphobic, violent, or otherwise any type of dehumanizing language has no place in the community I would like to create. Even in moments of frustration or anger or anything, saying those things was unacceptable, and I am deeply ashamed of myself. I know a lot of people see me as based or want to put their views and feelings onto me, but that is not the type of person I am. I'm just a girl who wants to stream and have fun with her friends and fans, thinking about cute seals and cute girls. I have never and will never promote that type of behavior to my fans, and I regret setting a bad example for them. I also want to clarify a few things. I do not hate my fans. What I said was in a moment of burnout and bitterness aimed at the people who spam me for specific content while not respecting or giving me value as a person. I let that frustration turn into a generalization, and that's my responsibility. It doesn't make those words okay, and I'm deeply sorry to everyone I hurt by saying them. I have nothing but respect and admiration for artists. I never wanted to demean anyone's work. In the whole conversation that was emitted from the clip, I was talking about how much I wish I could have different model proportions, such as those this artist draws so beautifully. I really have a lot of love and respect for their work and have always been extremely vocal about this. I am unable to fully clarify the contents of my original statement there, but I want to reiterate that it had absolutely nothing to do with the beyond wonderful art. I know that there is no perfect way to apologize, and some people won't be able to forgive me, and that is 100% okay. I'm honestly just extremely sorry it happened at all. I know this has disappointed many, some will never forgive me, and again, I genuinely cannot blame them. I'm sorry that I ever said these things, and I will keep doing the work to make sure that I never say them again. Thank you to those who stood up to me, and to those who have called me out on it. I am paying attention and I'm learning. I'm trying to move forward as the person I want to be, not the person I was on that call. There are a lot of things I wish I could address, but I'm unable to. For what I have said, I tend to struggle with words, so I hope that I was able to convey my feelings properly to you. I'm going to be taking some time and stepping back to focus on myself and take this seriously. I genuinely never want to be that person again. To those groups I hurt, to my fans, and to anybody else affected, I truly apologize. Anyway, don't come up with your opinion just yet because there's way more to this story, but this was her initial apology. And I'd say by now, the community was divided in two camps. The first camp were people who were absolutely outraged at her words, like this person replying here saying we all have bad days, but doesn't mean we should be throwing a tantrum and saying racist and homophobic things while calling your fans broke, do better. The other camp was calling her based and wanted to follow her socials until she apologized, saying things like, welp, this sucks, thought we actually had a good one, but nah, she caved, sucks. In fact, many of the hidden replies that I'm not going to click on fully support her and encourage her to continue being herself and not cave in to Twitter. Now look, I'm not here to teach you morals, I hope your parents did that. But the fact of the matter is, a majority, or hell, at least a big chunk of Nijisanji fans in general strongly identify with the LGBT community. Many of the ones that happen to watch female VTubers also happen to be men. And hell, I wouldn't be surprised if a sizable percentage of those men were Indian. This was Twisty giving the biggest, fattest, thickest middle finger to the entire demographic of Nijisanji, the corporation she represents. So when it came to her already existing community and fans, she had thrown them under the bus. A new demographic was welcoming her with open arms, but she refused that too. So essentially she had burned all her bridges. But she wasn't done talking just yet. She actually didn't take any breaks and would continue streaming on her PL account. At some point in her chat, she said, "It's okay, I'm retiring soon, we don't need intros or outros, we will be ASMR only, nothing matters but ASMR." So people were thinking, oh wait, is she actually officially leaving Nijisanji now? But before they could answer that question or finish theorizing, a second black background stream had hit the Niji towers. This is in reference to the first black background stream that was done during the Selen controversy that proved to be catastrophic for the company's reputation. This time though, it was Twisty on her PL account, live streaming for 30 minutes in a stream titled A Sincere Apology and My Truth. currently sitting at almost 100,000 views. Now look, I know the video's long, don't worry, I wrote down the most important aspects of it. It wasn't an easy watch. She's speaking in her lolly voice, and she's whispering to the microphone. This might as well be renamed to Indian Hating Girlfriend Apology ASMR or something. But deep in this apology, you will find a 1-minute clip of her confronting Aster ARCADIA in a voice call, with him clearly replying to her with his voice. And of course, I'll make you listen to that. But before we get to that, what was the whole point of this video? Well, I'll tell you, but first I want you to listen to this 5-second clip, because this is how she sounds like for the entirety of these 30 minutes.
Coming from someone who said all of that disgusting stuff, and I don't know, I guess...
Yeah, no, you're not crazy. It actually does sound that low. Anyway, she starts off the video reiterating the fact that she is a changed person, guys. That she now realizes the gravity of her mistakes, etc., etc. And then she gets into the juicy stuff, detailing her experience with Nijisanji. She says that Nijisanji had presented itself as a dream opportunity, but ended up being a nightmare. Unclear communication, delays, toxicity, and unprofessionalism. For the first 8 months, she had no steady income whatsoever because most of it was going towards the debt she had with Nijisanji. And to illustrate the toxicity, she gives us an example. She thought she had a friend within the company, showed them her new outfit that she was going to announce to everyone, and then that supposed friend shared her outfit 10 minutes before the stream, in which she actually reveals the outfit for the first time, completely ruining the surprise. I mean, at this point, pick. You want to work in the North Korean government or Nijisanji? It's practically the same thing. She then says on July 2024, she contacted Nijisanji management to let them know about a VTuber who has a history of preying on new hires, especially women. She was told no action would be taken, and that apparently such incidents have been brought up before multiple times involving that same VTuber. She wasn't the first one, and it seemed like she wasn't going to be the last at all. Management then made sure to specify never speak to anyone about this again. So her and a bunch of other coworkers who went through the same thing with Aster ARCADIA got together and pleaded to management for them to take this seriously. Unfortunately though, it didn't do anything. Management was still doubling down and saying, nope, we can't do anything about this, don't mention this again. She then talks about the false ID video. On November 2024, her supposed friend leaks many of her messages on 4chan, but nothing really happens to her until these videos start coming out. This is when Nijisanji would instruct her to take a break from her work, and an internal investigation began. According to her, 80% of the conversations with investigators were her explaining VTuber culture, how VTubers worked, and what this industry was about. And only 20% were her explaining her relationship with Aster and how he was harassing her and other women. When the call was done, the investigation team said they would follow up afterwards, and they never did. To this day, Twisty is convinced no real investigation ever took place inside Nijisanji. She even revealed something for the first time that we'd never heard of prior, which is the fact that Nijisanji at some point wanted to settle with her. They wanted to pay her an amount of money to shut her up, but she refused. If true, this is them pretty much admitting their guilt. Then she starts talking about Aster. She said he was very friendly initially and they played games. He kept pushing her to play with him, and even though she didn't want to, she agreed because she wanted to have a good relationship with all of her coworkers. That's according to her. But then over time, his behavior towards her started to shift. He started calling her way more often, making flirty comments about her appearance and her voice. He would even start asking her to say sentences or specific phrases in her voice because he thought it was cute. He'd even bring up the topic of her ASMR videos in a way that made her uncomfortable. And then according to her, his attitude would shift even further. He would start to put her down, calling her mentally disabled or saying that she had Tourette's, repeatedly saying that she's not normal, and would even claim at some point that others at work, her coworkers, the other VTubers at Nijisanji, were uncomfortable around her. She says that later on, she found out from one of those coworkers that Aster was talking about that this was untrue, and that this was only a part of his manipulation tactics. Aster would keep escalating this behavior, and then would suggest that he and Twisty should meet up in Japan. She explained to him that she's very anxious socially and wouldn't be comfortable. He kept pushing, and he didn't believe her, adding things like, hey, what if we were in Japan, but together? She would keep saying no repeatedly. He would keep asking, this time in a flirty way, and would say things like, what if we held hands? To which he said no. What if we hugged? To which he said no, and would even go as far as saying, what if we stayed in your hotel room together? To which again, she said no. So zero respect of boundaries. Now here's where things get very weird. According to her, at some point, Nijisanji management told her that they needed her for an event in Japan, saying that they didn't have enough talent. They simply didn't have enough people showing up. She considered going, but was financially unable since they weren't going to pay for her ticket. Amazing company, I know. But now, as she looks back towards this, she thinks that there was an ulterior motive because it turns out that they did indeed have enough people for the event. So they lied to her. So I guess this is her implying that maybe Aster had a hand in this, wanting her to come to Japan so that he can, meet up with her against her will. She then says that he did this exact same thing with others. This would be his methodology. Targeting new hires, new VTubers that just joined that would fangirl over him, be exceedingly friendly with them, isolate them, and then propose to them, hey, want to fly out to Japan? Want to meet up? Knowing very well that they're probably broke and can't afford to go to Japan but really want to. In the initial leaked messages and in False ID's video to Twisty, Aster truly crossed the line when he got in a call with a non-VTuber friend of hers that was a very big fan of Nijisanji and a big fan of Aster and tried to pull the same thing on her, saying, hey, you should come to Japan, let's meet up. This is when Twisty would get in a call with Aster and would confront him about his behavior, specifically about telling a lot of girls, hey, I'll fly you to Japan. This happens in her apology video at the 24-minute 13-second mark. Watch.
I feel like it's kind of weird when you offer to fly girls out. Just in general. I'm getting a call.
In general?
Might be famous. I don't know, but don't you think
But it was like a half joke.
I mean, you can't really half joke saying, I'm gonna fly you to Japan, come stay in my hotel. That's not really a joke. Like, I feel like there are some things you should and should not say to someone who is like, because like she is a really big fan of Nijisanji. You're on your Liveware account. I feel like it's very awkward for her when you're saying like, even if it's a joke, which I don't think it is. I don't think, like, you say my joke's like unhinged or whatever, but you don't just say, I'm gonna fly you out and you can stay in my hotel room.
So this is it. There you have it. This is a clip in which Aster ARCADIA is with Twisty in the same voice channel, and as she's confronting him about this, he's saying it's kind of a half joke, acknowledging that this actually did indeed happen. And I mean, yeah, of course, anything can be a half joke until the other person says yes, then it becomes reality. But it's definitely a very weird thing to say when someone is clearly a fan of your company, you're using your Aster ARCADIA Discord account, and you tell them, hey, want to come to Japan and stay in the same hotel room as me? That's not a joke. Because someone like her is almost guaranteed to say yes. I mean, she's a fan. That's just so weird. And this is the person being protected by Nijisanji at all costs right now. She says the reason why she only included 60 seconds of this voice call is because the name of her friend as well as names of other people are mentioned, and she doesn't want to compromise them. She says that she went public with this because management would never acknowledge her. And that was pretty much an apology of 32 minutes in lolly ASMR summed up. You're welcome. But it's not over yet because she included a pinned comment saying, 1. I have full receipts, I have Discord logs, I have messages to staff members and legal. I will not be sharing these. The full call will not be shared because it mentions who else was involved and I'm not okay with bringing somebody into things who is not comfortable speaking up. I cut the clip as it is to avoid any possible way of involving them because they are directly mentioned a few seconds after. 2. Quite frankly, I don't care if what I say upsets people. If I didn't regret my words, I just wouldn't apologize for them. I think a lot of people have the wrong idea about things and just automatically assume that apologizing is lost on a lot of people. And honestly, I agree. Forgiveness can be lost on people. No one should even be expected to forgive someone for anything in the first place. If you're apologizing to please people, is there any point? I think that I went too far and could have expressed myself in different ways, and that is all there is to it. But honestly, it has nothing to do with forgiveness from the types of people who will vilify and harass me, all while defending a genuine predator. This has always been a guilty until proven situation, and it will probably stay that way forever. I truly hope it does, because I do not want such people to ever interact with me or my content. 3. Don't begin to assume you know anything about my job, contract, or terms when you have absolutely no idea outside of, oh well, this person said this. Like I said in the video, everyone has very different experiences, and lots of people have very different circumstances too. I am telling you mine. 4. I wanted to leave last August. I wanted to leave again 4 months ago. 5. I don't hate all men. I think they're all mentally ill, but so are all women, and so am I, so... Great, slowly but surely destroying her initial apology. 6. I have no issues with Brave Group as a whole. I will not mention the VTuber in question, but I still stand by my words here. Yes, I was jealous and petty and it was definitely in bad taste, but I'm not going to apologize for disliking someone in private or being upset for my own personal reasons, nor for thinking that hiring people who are open about politics is bad optics. At this point, she's already terminated, so it would be an apology to the wind. Again, just slowly but surely completely undoing the initial apology, like straight up. 7. She quotes some people saying you're deflecting blame and says 2 people can make mistakes at the same time. I want to start fresh and move on with my life. I'd like to take some time away, and that is not something I felt like I could do. I think that these things were very important to address together because of all the comments I've seen going, well, she said this, so they're totally innocent, which is just not how things work. So yeah, because of that voice call of her leaking where she was racist and all those things, some Aster ARCADIA fans were saying, well, hey, if she's a terrible person, that means all the things she said about him were fake. That's not how it works. She then continues, I feel like my statement on Twitter covered the majority of my feelings about the situation, and while I considered speaking more on what had happened, I think it is ultimately not relevant. I cannot go back and change the past. The most I can do is say sorry and be better for myself and my fans. And then she says a sentence I have no idea like why this is necessary to specify. When I first read this, I had to do a double take. Number 9, I will never apologize for being a lolicon. I will continue to do incestuous lolly roleplay. Bro, no comment, man. Just no comment. Let's move on. Aside from all that, I truly believe that if you continue to support and defend my job and the individual mentioned, you are no better than me. You can deflect and call me a liar all you want while downplaying the severity of the situation, but at the end of the day, I know what I and others have experienced. You are the reason that they continue to treat their employees poorly, the reason they allow truly vile people to do truly vile things with no repercussions and will continue to do so. Believe all women until it's one I don't like, right? I truly hope that you will never have to go through the same thing. So yeah, this is definitely a loaded pinned comment, especially that 9th statement that came out of nowhere to sucker punch me in the face. But this was actually kind of a successful attempt at sweeping her leaked voice call under the rug. Now people were mostly focused on Nijisanji and Aster ARCADIA yet again. And for good reason. Aster ARCADIA is an even bigger problem than we first thought. His behavior is not just being protected by Nijisanji, it's being encouraged at this point. You have multiple people coming together to complain about his behavior internally, and Nijisanji is refusing to do anything about it, even lying to everyone saying that they're conducting an internal investigation. And I mean, it's been over 6 months, we still haven't heard anything about that investigation in any way, shape, or form. But investigation aside, this was noteworthy enough to warrant some sort of a statement from Nijisanji themselves. What we initially got though wasn't an official statement, it was an unofficial one that made Nijisanji's stance very clear, deleting every single piece of content from Twisty AMANOZAKO's YouTube channel and privating her Twitter account. These things are usually done when a Vtuber at Nijisanji leaves for whatever reason. But when they do leave, whether they get kicked out or graduate, Nijisanji usually makes a statement. This time, there was no such statement. She pretty much got stealth kicked. We can confirm this now because she was even removed from Nijisanji's official website. But guess what? Aster ARCADIA is still right here, and he's not going anywhere. Then, out of the blue, on June 21st, 2025, Nijisanji finally decided to make an official statement on the situation, saying, announcement regarding Twisty AMANOZAKO's contract termination. Nijisanji EN has terminated his contract with Twisty AMANOZAKO due to confirmed instances of discriminatory speech, which is in direct violation of our contract terms and is not tolerated in our community. We appreciate your continued support as we grow together, and we remain committed to fostering a community built on mutual respect, creativity, and accountability. Thank you for your understanding. Dude, that's so funny coming from them, I swear. But there you have it. We got an official statement. It was made on Saturday though, and some people believe this was the case so that it doesn't affect stock price since the stock market is closed on weekends. Some people of course pointed out, hey, this is great, but what about the investigation that's been going on for 6 months? Of course, zero mention of that. But hey, I guess all these things are truly negligible because over the last year, Any Color stock has doubled. I wish I was kidding. I don't know what the hell's going on in the Japanese stock market, but it's almost doubled. But while the CEO is indeed richer from this, his aspirations of becoming an international company are pretty much flushed down the toilet. I mean, it's really funny to me. They were hoping that the heat from False ID's video about Aster would die down by the time they reach his 3rd anniversary. But due to what happened with Twisty, it just got freshly reignited, and I don't think he's going live again anytime soon. But hey, Twisty seems to be doing pretty well at least. She went live as recently as June 18th and continues to go live almost every single day. It seems that she's finally been released from the clutches of Nijisanji and can go back to streaming on her past life account without any legal repercussions. I wish her the best in her lolly incestuous roleplay adventures. Anyway, thank you so much for watching until the end. This is such a train wreck. It's ridiculous. And I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. I love you so much, and thank you again for 500,000 subscribers. Mwah!